Once again, this is Ed Wilson. We're just waiting for the audio to come up on this live press conference. There's Janae Town. We're getting ready. And this is at Pella at the Vermeer Corporation.
We can't hear you. So fix it.
Until we get the sound back, we'll take it back through. Maybe by the tornado just being smashed, spread through those cars and piling those cars, picking them up right on top of one another. This is an agricultural buildings, and then the large hail that was in that same spot doing a lot of damage, of course. Now we have audio back at Pella. We'll go back to the press conference at Vermeer.
141, and for any post-event care needed. There is significant structural damage and personal property damage across the Vermeer campus. Our initial assessment is as follows. Our corporate office, Plant 1, Plant 2, Plant 3, Parts Distribution Center, Global Pavilion, and Yellow Iron Lely Learning Center, Academy, Early appeared to minor damage. Plant 4, 7, and Plant and our advanced system testing facility will need a structural assessment before we can determine the impact of the damage and the ability to continue operations. Plant 5 and Plant 6 both have significant structural damage that we believe at this time will limit our ability to continue operations. Our waste management facility is a complete loss. We appreciate the quick outreach of the community. Unless notified, we ask team members, dealers, customers, and community members to refrain from visiting the campus until further notice. Operations for third shift have been canceled for the night of Thursday, July 19. All operations, both office and production, have been closed for Friday, July 20. We will continue to provide updates as they are available. I want to say that from the Vermeer family perspective and from our executive team's perspective, we are most pleased that all injuries were relatively minor injuries, and all of those that went to the hospital for treatment have already been released. That's the single thing that we're most happy about. I also want to say that today, as I mentioned in my comments, we had 400 dealers and customers here to celebrate our 70th anniversary. We've dealt with lots of challenges in 7 decades of doing business. This is a new major one. We have, as we survived and thrived after every challenge we've had thus far, we plan to do so again. Thank you.
Jason, can you talk about how many folks were injured at this point?
It's a small handful.
Can you talk about the extent of injuries? I mean, falling debris, any bumps and bruises, what might they be?
I can talk a little bit about the injuries. According to the EMS director on scene, it sounds like 7 people were transported to Pella Regional Health Center here in Pella, all with minor injuries. We don't know the exact injuries or the details of those injuries, but they all, as Mr. Andringa has stated, they've all been released from Pella Regional at this point. There were some injuries that were minor enough that they could be treated here on scene, EMS personnel.
Talk about just how fortunate when we see the damage and we see
I would, without knowing 100%, but I would say the quick acting of Vermeer as far as putting in their emergency response, getting team members to shelters within the buildings, those types of actions are paramount in coming out of something like this with only minor injuries.
There was some chatter on social media that a wall may have collapsed inside. Is that true?
I don't know anything about that.
Jason, can you talk about the extent of the damage to the facilities instead of limited operations?
I just want to say, first of all, that I appreciate the compliment about the just amazing job that the Vermeer team did to make sure that all of our people were in tornado shelters. But the response of the Pella Police Force and all the organization supported and that us in this time of need has been remarkable. And I don't think I'll comment more on the structural damage other than to say that we're pleased that the majority of the facilities on our property received zero to little damage. And at this point, we have not been able to do the structural damage to, fully understand the structural damage that may be in our other facilities.
You mentioned canceling operations tomorrow. Where do you go beyond that as you move forward into next week?
So we really want to just cancel operations so that we can make sure that all safety for team members is assured when we bring our operations folks back. We certainly are optimistic that a number of our facilities can be up and going again in the near future. And the outpouring of offers for help from a variety of other entities and other entities has been overwhelming. And we will explore all their manufacturing to get back up to full Vermeer capacity as soon as we can. We do drills, and of course we live in Iowa, so periodically we have a real tornado warning, and I myself have taken shelter several times, and so that we have done. I'm certainly glad on those drills in the past, and that we have put the effort that we have into being. I'm certainly glad.
This company is your family. You talk about 70 years. Probably very emotional for you just to see all this, but it sounds like you have a little optimism in how you'll rebuild.
Pastor Kevin Korver was here. I appreciate him being here. Immediately. So we certainly are going to rebuild, and we're going to come back stronger than ever.
And I have just a couple things as far as road closure. Vermeer Road in front of Vermeer Manufacturing will be closed indefinitely. That will aid us in helping Vermeer with cleanup efforts and getting some vehicles that may be in the roadway still or in the way. We'll get that stuff cleaned up. Everything else around Vermeer Manufacturing should be opened up normal, hopefully by later on tonight. I would say hopefully by 10 o'clock or so would be my... I haven't heard anything, and I don't know much about...
No, an underground tunnel wouldn't have played a role, but certainly the numerous tornado facilities that we have throughout our campus were the key. Having no serious injuries and to have minor injuries.